Okay, we're gonna have several lessons about how to use this SPSS program. When you open it, it should look something like this. Yours probably says 19. That doesn't matter. It's okay. And what's going to ask you is if you want to open an existing data source. The first time through, no, you don't. But once we put this first one in, we can come back and use it again. So be sure and save it when you're done with it. So to start out, you want to cancel that. You're going to end up with a data set that looks like this. And what you want to do is start out by naming your variables. You have a document called Practice on Means, Medians, and Modes. It's a Word document that's located in Module 4. Looks something like this. So in this setup, I've already kind of put this together. What we have is practice scores for pretest and post-test scores for biology. We have the gender, and we have whether or not they are on free and reduced lunch, and it's either yes or no. So we've got some numerical data here. This is ratio data, so it's just basic numbers. Over here, this is nominal data or dichotomous because this is yes or no. So that restricts the type of things that we can do with it. In order to put this in, when you're in the variable view, you want to name it. Now I want to name with the same information, gender, and it's going to ask me what type of information in this. Well, it's only ever going to be one of two things, either numeric or string, and it's string because it's a nominal piece of data. It's a letter that we're going to put in there, not a number, and that automatically changes some stuff over here. Next, we put low SES. Can I put a space over here? Retest score. Post-test score. Okay, now I'm going to leave these numeric because they really are numbers. The labels, you don't have to put them in, but you got more flexibility over here. You can put spaces in. You can make longer names. And it just makes the tables look nicer when you're finished with it. Now, there's all my variables. Now, you're going to switch back to data view. The variable view is where you name your variables. The data view is where you enter the information in. So, as we said, that's the first one's a male. Yes, he's on low SES. Sorry about that. His pretest score was a 68. His post-test score was a 94. And then you can do the next one. Or, a much easier way to do it is copy and paste the whole thing. It'll let you do that out of a Word document as long as it's in a table or out of Excel. Now, we've got all our information in there. And rather than doing a bunch of discussion threads on this, what we're going to do is there's some questions down here at the bottom. I want you to complete these questions and then send this back to me. You need to get used to doing this. This won't be for a grade, it's just good practice. And as part of the exam, you'll have to be able to do some things like this. So, to find the mean, what you want to do is, the main thing that you're going to do is this analyze. So let's do a very simple one. We want some descriptive statistics, and we could put in pre-test and post-test. So when you start out, it's highlighted. You're going to use this arrow to move it over here. And we might as well do both of them. This options box lets you pick some different things. Right now, it defaults to mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. Don't worry about the kurtosis and the skewness right now. We know that that's a condition that happens to data. We're not going to really worry about it on this. So we'll hit continue and hit OK. Give it a few minutes. Okay, so we have 22 people, this is our N, who took the pretest. The minimum score, lowest score anybody got was a 42. High score was an 83 on the pretest. The average score was 68. Standard deviation is 8.9. And you ought to be able to calculate the middle 68% of that, because now you know the mean, you know one standard deviation. The second one is the post-test scores. There's 22 of those: minimum score, maximum score, mean, same thing as standard deviation. Now, that's just a very basic view of it. So we're going to close this, and it's going to ask you, do you want to keep it? No, we don't really need to keep those. You can always go back and redo it again. I never keep the outputs. So that's one of the things you want to do. Now, the other thing that you can do with this is, let's say that you only want to look at some specific types of data. You want to do something called select cases. If you click on that, it comes up with two things here. The reason it's only showing two things here is because these are numerical data. You want to click the button that says if condition is satisfied, and then actually click the if button. Now we actually have more things from which to pick. Let's say, hypothetically, I only want to look at the males. So I had that highlighted in yellow. I can take that out, or I could do SES. That will move over there. I can take that out. I can go back to gender. Highlight in yellow, hit that arrow button, and moves it over there. Now, what I'm saying is I want gender to be equal to, use a single quote mark, male. And hit continue. Now, it's showing you in this screen that if this condition is satisfied, if the gender is equal to male, you hit OK. It's going to create this output window. This is just another version of telling you what you did. No, I don't want to keep that. But what I want you to see is that the females are all marked out. It doesn't get rid of the data. It still keeps track of it. But it does put it out where you can't do anything with it. Now, you can go back and you can analyze something. Again, let's do some descriptives. I want to know just the pretest score for those. Now, evidently I only had 12 males. There's my minimum, my maximum on the pretest, their average score, and their standard deviation. No, I don't want to keep that. Now, let's say, well, I only wanted males who were on low SES. I'm going to go back to my if statement. Now I want to add another condition to this algorithm, so I'm going to click AND. Low SES equals single quote mark Y. Hit continue. Now it's got two things it's going to go look for. This looks right here. Hit OK. Again, it's confirming what I'm looking for. I don't want to keep that. Now, let's see what happens when I run my means again. Evidently, I only have 8 males who are on low SES. This is their average score. Now, you may want to know the means and medians and modes. If you go to Analyze, Descriptive, and select the frequencies, and we do the pretest score just for that. Now, let's say I want to run some statistics. With using the other one, I could only get the means. If you click on statistics on this chart, it lets you pick what you want to see. So I can include all those. I include standard deviation, minimum, maximum. And say I want a chart. I like to have a bar chart go with this because I want to show it to somebody. Now, got all that information picked out, hit OK. So now I get a mean, a median, a mode, a standard deviation, minimum, maximum scores. I also get how many people scored a 58, how many people scored a 65. It'll take all of the scores that occur and tell you how many of each of those they have. And it also makes a bar chart. One of the things I want to show you is that you can take this, if you wanted to show this to somebody else, you can't send them this file. You have to, because most people don't have SPSS. So you can copy this, paste it, and it goes in your Word document. You can copy anything out of here. And put it in your Word document. And when it does it, it keeps it as a table. So you can manipulate these around. You can add in more borders if that's what you want to do. All kinds of things that you can do with it. The one thing that you can't do, though, as I said, I don't want to keep you to that, is you can't send anybody else this file that doesn't have SPSS. It just won't work. They can't see it. So that's the basics of this, how this works. What you need to do is to take that Word document called Practice on Means and try some of the exercises and send that back to me. And that's it.